So the fuel is your focus. You have to be focused. You need understanding of yourself, of your content, of your philosophy, of your story, understanding of your ideal reader. And of course, you need the energy. You need to be upbeat, do things that help you keep high vibe energy, take time out when you need time out, use author power hours to be highly focused. So we just need to make sure that you keep your energy at a level that will keep you motivated and keep you going. And of course, we want to leverage everything that you're doing. We want to repurpose everything so that you do a job once, and then we find multiple ways of leveraging that to your advantage for your book sales, for opportunities, and most importantly, for you to grow. Narina, have you got a question you would like to ask?
No, sorry. I realized that my microphone was on mute, so I just
All
couldn't
right,
hear you
okay.
earlier.
Okay, you can lower your hand then. I'll put it down. I think I can do it for you. Oh no, I can't. Anyway, there we go. So if you I will just ask, we won't put it in the chat because Ian, can you keep your eye on people coming in? There's people arriving. Thanks. So put your hand up if you are an author, or give me a thumbs up. Are you already an author? Narina, good. Jeff. Oh, Francis. Hey, 20 two days in a row. Lovely to see you, Francis. Thanks for
nice to see you
today. Thanks. I really appreciate that. So if you're an author, this will still be very good for you today because we're looking at Boundless books. Let me start sharing the screen now. I think it's on, yeah. So we're looking at Boundless books by Old Wide. What does that mean? Well, when you are professionally published, and particularly here at BBP, you will have an extended reach to 200 countries and 40,000 outlets. Everybody thinks it's just Amazon. It's not Amazon. It is the world book trade. So we're going to look at how do you get your books into the right hands. So the challenge is reaching your audience. How are you going to reach your audience? And there are multiple ways in which you can do that. Oh, don't know what's happened. Sorry, the bit never came up before it. Hold on, we've missed. Let me just go back to that. Sorry, I don't know why. Here we go. There should be. Okay, let's see how you reach your audience. So we can reach our audience through the normal channels. So we can reach them by being online. So that could be Amazon, it could be Barnes and Noble in America, it could be Waterston's, WH Smith. It can be a Booktopia in Australia. So all the major bookstores around the countries in the world, your book will appear. But it also appears in independent bookstores and also other third-party bookstores that you find out. You see many of them on Amazon, and digitally your book can be found in that way across all the online platforms. Of course, we can reach our audience by being in physical bookstores. So what I would say about that is we start local, we go national, and we go international. So there's a bit of work that you have to do in order to reach your audience via bookstores. And I'll speak a wee bit more about what it means to have your book in a bookstore. And it's not all that it's cracked up to be in terms of making money. And, you know, it can be a bit restrictive as well, but it's always another option. So the whole thing about how we reach our audience is having multiple ways of doing it. Another way you can reach your audience is by creating creating and establishing your brand around it. You have to be that know, like, and trust person. So readers today and want to see the author. No longer are we hiding behind the book, hiding behind names. People want authenticity. And as an author, you want to be authentic and really care about your reader. Now, what I want to say about a reader is that your reader is also your ideal client, particularly in non-fiction books, particularly in business books, coaching books, books on therapy, any form of non-fiction, even memoirs. So we have to do that. And we have to be aware of what are the distribution channels? How does my book get to all of these places? So I think that's the next slide. Okay, so there's core distribution. Let's see what the first one is. Direct sales. What does that mean? What does direct sales mean? Well, it means you as the author selling directly to your potential reader, your potential client. So how do you do that? Well, the best way to do that is you can sell directly from your website. And what I would say about that is when you sell directly from your website, you can make between 70 and 80% profit on your books. You can sell them through workshops, through events. And let me tell you a little bit about one of our recently published clients. So she does workshops, and when she published her book, within 2 or 3 months of publishing, she started getting 12-month contracts for a 1-hour workshop a month, and she was making on one client 26,000. So for 12 hours of work across a year, she was making £26,000. So imagine if you had 2, 3, 4 of those, which would be 4 hours a month, that would be 100,000. So you can see how quickly you can make your investment back, your return of investment, and you can reach those 6 figures. So in terms of other contribution, you need your distribution partners. So that is people like gardeners, like your print on demand. You need these as well. Now, if you're self-publishing, you've got to try and establish these relationships, and they are not easy to do. They're not easy. But if you're determined enough, you can do it. But that's why, as a hybrid publisher, we take all of that stress and all of that worry away from you. And we are the ones who get your book, as I said, in 200 countries, 40,000 outlets worldwide, including Lightning Source, including Amazon, including Gardeners and other major distribution centers around the world. And of course, Lightning Source has many, as do Gardeners, who in the last year and a half are now in Europe, are now in the States. So that makes distribution from right here in the UK easier. Hence, I have authors in America, I have in Dubai. That's another whole weekly drive talking about Dubai, and in India, as well as I said, all those other countries. So that you need those distribution partners for your global reach. Absolutely. If not, you are going to be narrow. And in this day and age, when we've got the internet, we should not be thinking geographical, but we should be thinking global, because that's how we can have that wide reach. Now, the thing is about this, how would you want to distribute your books? Think about it. How would you go about distributing your books? Would you prefer direct sales, or would you provide distribution partners? So just think about that. If you want to put it in the chat, please do. Would you want to sell them yourself, or would you want distribution? And even better, What about the hybrid approach? What about doing both? Absolutely. So the direct sales making bigger profit, distribution partners that go to the shops, online platforms. And I'll just touch on it a little because we will do another weekly drive around return of investment and royalties and all of that. You make anything from 17% to about 26% on royalties based on your RRP when your books are in stores. And if you put your books in, if your books are found in supermarkets or the works or any of these cut price places, you make 2p on each book that you sell. So you do have to think about it, but here's my little tip. I want you to consider your book sales as passive income. And we will have another drive around how I've given you a one idea of how you can make 6 figures. And there's lots more. But I believe that your book sales should be viewed as passive income. People can be buying it as you're sleeping. So that is what I want to encourage you to shift your lens and start thinking about book sales as passive income, whether you are an author or whether you're considering becoming an author. So let's look at how we can maximize our reach. Whether you're a speaker, a business owner, or an author, you need to know who your target audience is. So this is one of my golden tips, and that is know your audience 100%, because you need to know where they are hanging out, who they are, what's their demographic, where are they, who are they, what do they do? Because you need to know this in order to build relationships. So here at BBP, we encourage our authors to start building relationships early on in the journey. I call it an adventure, actually. We call it the author's adventure. So you really want to be building those relationships, nurturing them in creating maybe your own group, in being in groups where your ideal reader and client is. If there's already groups out there, and here's another little tip, don't be taken by the number of people in the group. Look for groups where there is high activity. Even if there was 200 people in the group, but there was lots of engagement and lots of conversation going on, that's a group you want to be in. But you might have a group with 10,000 and there's hardly anybody saying anything and it's just all spamming. Is that really going to help you build relationships with your ideal reader, who are actually your ideal clients? Because that's what your book's all about, really. It's about that definitive book. It's your story, it's your experience, it's your expertise, it's your philosophy. So we need to build those relationships. And we need to find not just relationships with the reader, but also you need to be building those relationships with those distributors. Go to your local library, become friends with them. Go to your local bookstore, become friends with them. Even although here, when we publish books, all the information goes to all the bookstores in the UK, but we can't determine what book goes on their shelf. They have buyers and they look at the viability of the commercialism of your book as to whether or not they put it on your shelf. But how else can you get it on the shelf? Well, if you've got a local Waterstones in your high street, you can go and tell them you're a local author. We provide you with assets that they need. You've got ISBN numbers. They can look you up and go, oh yes, we can do that. And then you can start negotiating, building those relationships to get them to help you maybe have a book signing in their store, maybe have an event, a book launch in the store. That will happen more with independent bookstores. So I have a friend who's a traditionally published fiction writer. She is an American, but she lives in Cornwall, and she writes historical romance. And so she is on book 11, I believe, at the moment. So she's had to build up her presence, her position, even although she's a HarperCollins author, it doesn't mean you have those high sales initially. It's about who are you? Why should we buy your books? So over time now, she's built up an amazing relationship with her local bookstore. So every time she's got a book coming out, guess what? They go to town, they've got balloons, they do big displays for her. She does book signings, they have some refreshments, and she now is a well-known and respected author in her community, but not just in like a few miles. People will travel considerably now to come and see her in person and get their book signed. So we need to build relationships with our reader and with people who can help us sell our books. Of course, you need to utilize all the digital platforms. So, and that means ebooks. So have your ebook, have it as a Kindle on Amazon. You can have ebooks on Waterstones and Barnes and Noble and all the other big stores as well. You also consider an audiobook. Now, people usually write the book and maybe a year later they do an audiobook. Just depends on budgets and things like that. But you do want to consider audiobooks and video, reading pieces from your book, maybe a chapter, maybe parts of a chapter, because my background's education, and I learned that you had to have a multisensory approach. So if I was to ask you, what kind of learner are you? Would you be able to tell me? If you know what kind of learner are, write it in the chat. Are you visual? Are you auditory? Are you kinesthetic? Are you a combination? Do you know the best way that you absorb information and take it in? Do you like reading? Do you like listening? Do you like watching and listening? So know that. And you, as an authorpreneur, as a business owner, as a speaker, have to consider, what am I doing? So podcasts are great for if you're auditory, video, if you like to listen and watch. And if it's got subtitles, you can turn the sound down and you can just watch. Or do you like reading? So do you write blogs and articles and posts about it? So these are all the ways in which you can maximize your reach. And again, I think I touched on this a little earlier there. Offer multiple formats. Really consider how you can do that and make it part of your business plan, your marketing strategy. So year one is a book, year two is the audiobook. But what I want to tell you here at BBP, we're very fortunate. And although we're young in age, we've achieved lots in 4 years. And our books are now part of the RNIB. So that means your book will be automatically on the RNIB website for visually impaired readers, and they turn your book into large text and format so that your book can be reached. And this happened to us because they were being asked for books that we had published. And it's also very much part of being inclusive and having that diversity, because we're all about neurodiversity, cultural, religious, you name it, all the areas. We want to make sure that we can represent those voices. So knowing now that our books are automatically uploaded to the RNIB, that is a bonus, because you know you're doing something wonderful for people who have got visual impairment. I don't think we're in Braille yet, so we don't actually do them yet for blind. That'll be something that we'll follow up later on this year for going into 2025. But look at the multiple formats. And really, what's important is seek reviews and testimonials. You really want to have those reviews and testimonials. We also give you something called a book to look. It's a widget which you use as an email signature on your website, on your social media, that allows people to click. You have ownership, because if Amazon goes down tomorrow, all those reviews are gone. But all the reviews you get across the board from different platforms find their way onto your widget. So you have this book to look where everything's in the one place and you own it. Just like your website, you own your website, you don't own social media. So all authors should have a website. Entrepreneurs, as I've said already, I think you're getting to know me. So let's look at beyond distribution. Now, this is a bit that excites me. This is why I do what I do. Yes, the book is the starting point, but beyond the book, as we call it, so beyond that distribution, what else are you going to do? So how else do you think you would like to gain more income and gain a wider reach through other activities beyond distribution? If you want to put that in the chat, I would love to see that. I can't see any comments at the moment because I've got this, I've got the PowerPoint up. So unfortunately, I can't see the chat. But anyway, so how would you do it? Well, there's a couple of clues there, isn't there? So that chap's, he's got his book in his hand. So maybe he's at a workshop, maybe he is at a presentation, and then we've got a speaker. So let's look at that. So most important thing, as I said just before this slide, is your author website. And of course, you want to use social media. So you have to ask yourself, going back to your ideal client, your ideal reader, where are they hanging out? What age group are they? So 20-year-olds aren't really going to be hanging out on LinkedIn. There will be some, but not many. So who is your ideal client? Where they're hanging out? And really hone one social media site first. But we also ask you to consider X, formerly known as Twitter, because the media hang out on there and there's a massive book community. Instagram is visual. So if you've got a book and you've got lots of visuals to go with that, be on Instagram. There's Instabook. There's a massive community on Instagram. One little caveat from Instagram, you do get inundated with people wanting to do your posting and things for you. But that's something that you have to decide on. And of course, for me, I love video. So little short videos, you know, your 1-minute videos, they can go on TikTok, they can go on YouTube Shorts, they can go on the Reels, on Facebook, on Instagram. So when we come to the strategy, which we'll finish with in a moment, that is when you decide what makes me tick, what lights me up, how do I like to deliver what it is that I'm teaching, what are the points that I'm delivering, how do I want to deliver that? Without PR and marketing, you are going nowhere. You will keep yourself small. So if you're a person on a mission to make a difference in the world and make an impact, you do need to do PR and marketing. Fortunately, here at BBP, we have a holistic approach. So we begin that PR and marketing journey by providing you with assets that you can use. We offer very low cost paid ads. We've got a new partner called Shiver. So therefore you can have that global reach through ads that are Google and Amazon, that are powered by AI. So therefore they adjust according to the oh, forgot the word, the algorithm, and they adjust on a daily basis. So we work with 4 months in the beginning because you have to build the traction, but PR and marketing is massive. So we share with you and teach you how to do that. Again, it's bespoke. We can give you a whole menu, but each person wants to do their PR and marketing their unique way, and that's okay. No cookie cutters for sure. And of course, you want to be collaborating with other authors. You really want a community. And again, we have an academy here at Book Brilliance Publishing. So we have school, which is called the Author's Adventure, where all our authors go. So it's a great community where we share all the parts of the journey with each other. We maybe we're looking at a brand voice statement, and people give their ideas, their expertise, and you receive it. So it's a really giving and taking and sharing community that has your back. And of course, you want to run promotions. Now, I've left discounts on there. I really don't like discounts. As an author, you should never discount. And that's why I've left it on there to remind you not to discount. But here is another caveat that I want to share with you. Have you ever been on Amazon and you've seen, you go on and you see a big slash through the price, 60% off, and it's selling it at ridiculously £3.49, a book that's maybe £15. I want to share with you that is nothing to do with our publisher. That is everything to do with Amazon. So Amazon sometimes will cut a slash a book to give it a boost. They have their own set of rules. And unfortunately, publishers, including Penguin, including Bloomsbury and HarperCollins, have nothing they can do about it. They have their own little conglomerate. So run promotions, and we talk about that pre-launch. So we get you into bestseller before your book's even launched. So we look at the different promotions, pre your book and post your book, all the things that you can do as well. We offer 12 months. I'll leave that little piece of information till the final slide. So for me, there's 3 things that you really need to consider beyond distribution. That's website, marketing, your reviews. Absolutely will help you grow yourself as an author, as your business, and improve that return of investment and have that passive income as your book sells whilst you're sleeping. So here we go. Reaching your target audience takes a strategic approach. I have only shared with you the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that we need to do in order to be successful. I've hinted at who do you need to become? What do you need to do? How do you need to maybe shift the lens of your perception? Maybe you thought being an author was going to be easy. It is when you have a strategy. A strategy, you need to have a plan. It's part of your business plan. So I was glad when Jeff told me it was part of his business plan. Hooray. Love to hear that. It should be part of the marketing strategy. And a book is tax deductible. I don't know if you knew that. So because it's part of the marketing, it's tax deductible. So there you go. That's a great saving there for you. So you need to plan, you need to take action, and you need to gather the data to see how you can improve. And it's just that cyclical approach. Smart targets, review them, adjust, go again. Just keep doing it, but it must be strategic. If not, it becomes a scattergun approach rather than a focused approach. And when we're focused and we're focusing one thing at a time, that's when we will get the best results. So now I'm going to stop this. I think it's, community. You can join the Book Brilliance tribe on Facebook for free to get more resources. I'm in there once a week, and a community for you to help you on your way. And again, there I've said it, additional tips, support, guidance on successful authorship. And now I think we've got Q&A, so I'm going to stop sharing. I'd like to take some questions on some of the things that I've talked about. Any questions? Just unmute yourself and ask. Jeff, you got a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So my book is likely to be quite specific. In fact, we kind of know how many people out there would be interested in the book. I told you earlier on the kind of, company. So tax directors at those kind of companies. So I happen to know there is about 2,800 of those companies in the whole world.
Well,
Now,
there you go.
they have, it's not just one person though. They would have typically between 5 and 10 people in each of those, but they're very specific people. They move in very specific circles. I think what you're talking about, I've got another book I want to do later, which is not, not within the tax industry. But, I was thinking I'm going to have to stay within those circles and promote myself that way.
Well, you can. So one of the things that we've not talked about today, but because it's not part of this weekly drive, but I'll just let you know, as I told you, we take a holistic approach to what we do. You're a whole person, and being an author, you have to have all the different elements, from brand to marketing and PR to the writing, the copy, the content, to the business. How would your book fit into your business model, and how could you use that in order to get your message out there to those 2,300, can't remember the number, but whatever you said, clients, but then all the people that filter down, and how would that impact your business and help you get more business? So that's what the book would be for. So we would be really specific, looking at your business plan in terms of how you would use your book.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I want to say. It's so important to know that I don't know anybody else that does what I do in the world. Don't know anybody else that takes this whole approach. So publishers will do your book, put it up on Amazon, so that's self-publishing. We're not a self-publisher. We're professional publishers. So we've got the quality of traditional, but the flexibility of self-publishing. So, which, because you drive and we navigate, it's so important. You've got 100% ownership of your copy, all of that. Everything belongs to you. It doesn't belong to us. We're called Book Brilliance, right? And it's for a reason, because my job is to bring your brilliance out and let it shine so that others can see, and you can get that magnetic message out there. Call it $1 million message, because those words come from here. So we talk about books with soul. So it's not all about cognition. It's about blending your heart, mind, and spirit together, the gut and all of that kind of thing. Something different. And if you don't have, if your book's not built on a solid foundation, which begins at brand level, then your book can implode and you're not committed to it. And this is what you find. There's lots of people out there with books, but they're not committed. So the question is, if you took 6 months, a year, 2 years to write a book, why is the message in that book not got you committed and driving you? So the authors at BBP who are successful and have got longevity and are going and still growing, they're committed to the message in their book. And that's the first thing we do, is get right down to it. Because if you've not got that, you'll write your book, you'll do a bit, and it'll just, it sits there, So for me, that's important. That makes a massive difference to because I want you to be happy and I want you to be prosperous. So it's not enough for me to have a book. As I said, I was a teacher. I want the best for you, and I want to show you how you can leverage everything that you know and what you've got and work with people who will help you get your message out into the world. After all, that's why you've got a business.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi,
Narina?
Brenda. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. Tell me, and do you have a very excellent editor? So,
Absolutely.
right. So if one has done a book, a fiction,
Oh, yeah.
would you have, I mean, I consider it to be a work of art.
I'm glad. I
Yeah.
love that. Everything's a work of art. Speaking, the art of
Yeah.
speaking, the art of writing. Yes. And of
I
course,
mean,
writing is the painting of the voice.
yes, well, I'm artistic, so I'm involved in
Okay.
the art world. So,
Yes.
so I consider my writing to be, I've written poetry, I've written a fiction story, and but I need it edited and maybe dramatically edited. Do you offer that facility?
We offer other facilities, but I would suggest I think my scheduler will be put in the chat, and if you want to have a book in and have a chat with me, book in a 30-minute slot and let's have a chat, and I can tell you. And just to give you background, I did say I was in education, but I was in special educational needs. So I did a lot of work in neurodiversity for 18 years. So I worked with autistic, ADHD, the
Oh,
whole,
that's great.
yeah. So that's another little string to my bow that I have. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's fantastic. Yeah, because I am actually a writer, and I'm an artistic writer. So
Yeah.
I write quite in an abstract way, you know. So I
Mhm,
need a
mhm.
really good editor.
Yeah. So let's have a chat about that. We can do that.
Okay, thank you. That's
Francis, have
great.
you got any questions?
No, not at the moment. No. I'm working on a book at the moment. It's it's humor, so it's very,
Okay, good.
very different. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we need all different books, don't we, on all different subjects. There's a subject for everybody in the world. And here's a great quote. If you can't find a book you want to read, you need to write it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. But as I say, it's not just the book. It's a transformation, it's a growth, and it's the potential to leave that legacy. Well, it's not a potential, it is your legacy. Because I'll give you another little bit of information. Our books all go to the British Library and the other depositories around the UK, which creates a legacy. Plus, it's copyright and it's intellectual property. I could go on and on and on. Do you have any more questions?
No.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yes, Narina?
Do you do everything then,
Yes,
basically?
everything.
Okay, good.
Everything.
Very good.
Everything. Okay, thank you very much for coming along. Please look out for other topics that we'll be talking about. If any of them you want to know more about that particular topic, please come and join us. If you've enjoyed it today, please share it with other people you know who are thinking about writing a book or business or speaking, because these are all the topics we will be covering. So let's be entrepreneurs and have that book, because the book will open doors of opportunity, and we will be doing a whole weekly drive on that. So there we have it. If that's it, no more questions. Thanks very much.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much indeed, Jeff. You will have, I think there'll be an email coming your way and a little surprise for you as well, as a thank you for coming along and listening to what I've got to say. As you can, hopefully you've seen that I'm very passionate about what I do, and you are at the heart, and you are why I get out of bed every day, because going back to teaching the children and my staff, I want to see you shine. I want to bring out that brilliance. So until the next time, this is me saying much love and to the pip.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.